Narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, as this soundtrack will keep repeating. That means NPD is narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, let's have a listen.
While we may call someone a narcissist to describe someone who acts self-absorbed, narcissistic personality disorder is actually a serious condition that can affect how you see yourself and how you relate to others. If you know where to look, there are some telling traits of NPD that stand out.
Right, telling traits of him, traits for people who don't know the English word for traits. It's when you can actually see it in the person. Yeah, you can actually see it. That's a trait. Yeah, let's carry on.
1. An overinflated sense of self-importance. People with NPD often see themselves as the most important person in the room. They prioritize their ideas above others, insert themselves into the center of every conversation, and tend to exhibit issues with control when things get tough. This desire for perfectionism can damage relationships with others, but it can also cause undue stress on their own emotional and mental well-being when situations don't work out the way they envisioned.
Right, so they want themselves to be perfect, but if they if people say they're not perfect, that's a big problem to them. That's interesting. Let's have a look at.
Number 2, a need for excessive admiration. People with NPD evaluate their self-worth and self-esteem based on how other people perceive them. They want to be adored and admired for their efforts, and they want to be highly appreciated by everyone around them. Occasionally, they may be excessively envious of other people or believe others are envious of them. People with NPD may experience imposter syndrome more frequently and respond unkindly to criticism. 3. A sense of entitlement.
They respond to criticism in a negative way and not taking criticism as something that, people might want to try to help you, and everybody's open to criticism, everybody. I don't mind being criticised. I don't mind people saying, Terry, when you sing on YouTube, your songs are shit. It doesn't matter, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm just there to enjoy myself for no other reason than that, just to enjoy myself. But when you take criticism personally, I think you've got a little bit of a problem.
Since they see themselves as the most important person in their lives, they often expect others to see them the same way. This sense of entitlement may cause them to have unreasonable expectations to be treated better than other people. They may also expect others to bend to their will and comply to their wishes, even if their wishes cross an interpersonal line and ignore healthy boundaries.
Oh, so people with N.P.D want people to bend to their wishes because they feel that they're the most important thing and your opinion doesn't matter. As long as you comply with what their way of thinking, you're good. If you don't, you're bad. Simple terms, huh? Let's go for a bit more.
Number 4, superficial relationships. A person with NPD typically surrounds themselves with members of high society. The people they court may have high social status, belong to important organizations, or be upper class. They often find those people beneficial for their own personal or professional gain. When times get tough, these relationships may sometimes become strained because they're often disingenuous. Number 5.
They like to surround themselves with important people or self-important people who think they're important. as far as I'm concerned. We all come out of the same hole, and we all shit out the same hole. You know? Everybody's the same. Doesn't matter how much money you got. It doesn't matter how important you think you feel, or you portray to everybody you feel. We're all the same. Hmm? Hmm.
Takes advantage of others to achieve their goals. Disingenuous relationships lead to unfortunate outcomes. Someone with N.P.D. may be more willing to take advantage of other people for their own personal benefit, including people they know and love. They may also have a hard time discerning what makes their behaviors unacceptable and harmful to others and themselves. Number 6.
Yeah, they've got no perception of what they do to other people as long as they make themselves feel better. I know a couple of people personally like that. They just don't give a shit about you as long as they feel better about themselves. So it doesn't matter how much they want to hurt you or hurt other people. They just carry on as if nothing happens, and it's not their fault. It's never their fault. Never, ever their fault. It's always your fault. You're the bad one. Hmm? I know a couple of people like that, to be sure.
A lack of empathy. In interpersonal and romantic relationships, especially, someone with N.P.D. may have a hard time recognizing someone else's needs, even unintentionally, because their natural instinct is to prioritize their needs above others. Number 7.
Exactly. Yeah, they prioritize their needs above others, you know. But if you're a sort of charitable person, you know, you think about other people as human beings and not as just a target or someone to blame situations on, you know. They just like to portray themselves as everything that's good in life. And if you don't think that they are good, and you say, you know, come on, what about this? What about that? You know, they just lose their temper. It's crazy. They just can't take criticism. Which to me, you know, going back to criticism again, that's fine. Everybody should be able to criticize anyone else. It's not a problem. Come on. Unless it really affects you that much, you know?
Resistant to change. Processing big changes can be difficult for someone with N.P.D., especially when they're asked to compromise their beliefs or actions for the betterment of others. Rather than come to an agreement or hold themselves accountable, someone with N.P.D. may be avoidant or blame others for what's happening instead.
Yeah, a lot of people blame others for what's happening instead of taking responsibility upon themselves, yeah? I think you're a bigger person if you can accept the responsibility and not say, oh, my friend done this and you know, it's their fault. It's never anything to do with me, you know? I think, you know, you should sit down and think to yourself, you know, maybe it is me. Maybe I'm the one to blame, you know? Maybe I'm the one that brings all this nonsense into my life. But I just don't recognise it. But they don't listen to other people to try to give them just a little bit of advice, not in a nasty way, in a friendly way, and they take it the wrong way, and they think they're being attacked. Yeah.
8. Hyper-focused on fantasies. It's lonely at the top, especially for someone with N.P.D. who's hyper-focused on themselves. They may be fixated on their career, their social status, their financial well-being, or their physical looks. And while these are all good things to work towards, fantasies of one's greatness could become detrimental to their physical and emotional health.
Being portrayed as a nice person is very important to them, you know? It's very important that they should be the number one. Not the number two, not even close to being number two. The number one. What they think you should think as well, you know? But for me, everybody's got their own mind. They can think how they like, you know? Why should you take orders from other people? Come on, be an adult. You know, you've got your own way of life. And just act as good as you can without hurting other people. It's not a hard thing to do.
The causes of NPD are complex and can even include genetics and environmental factors, like a parent giving their child excessive adoration, or criticism, or not tending to their child's needs. At the end of the day, the mask of self-importance hides loneliness, lack of confidence, and lack of worth. Because
Lack of self-confidence, loneliness, and lack of worth. But they portray quite the opposite. But if somebody tries to point that out to them, they just lose their temper, you know, because that's the reaction they've got. They haven't got any other reaction. They can't sit down and digest anything negative that somebody's telling them about themselves. They have to portray this, you know, the big I am. I'm the one that you should be listening to. And if you don't listen to me, you're wrong. You're the bad guy. Huh? Just think about it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.